guys, so I wanted to make a video about Max's new school year routine in the afternoon because it's not really different than what he did over the summer, but we're going to be a little bit stricter with him about his food choices and what he's eating. I'm hoping to move him into a little bit healthier of an eating style, and then I want him to take more accountability for his choices. So what I have here, so I have his afternoon schedule, and it's the same as it was over the summer. He does his regular afternoon things, and then Monday is cooking, Wednesday he plans lunches and fun activities, Thursday he makes his shopping list, and Friday is shopping. So I'm gonna start with Wednesday and how I hope for him to kind of do things. So Wednesday is the day that he's planning lunches and snacks, and he's planning it for the following week. So whatever he chooses on Wednesday isn't for that current week, it's for the next. And I'd like him to do is, I'll make a note on here, but for snack, I'd like him to choose 3 healthy snacks and 2 fun snacks. And then for lunch, he should choose 3 lunch options. And hold on one second, I'm gonna grab a dry erase marker. Okay, sorry, so what he's gonna do is when he sits down on Wednesday, he's gonna take his sheets out, his snack and his lunch sheets, and he's gonna just pick what he wants. So let's say, because he's gonna do 3 healthy, let's say he chooses carrots. Of course, this doesn't work. Well, he's gonna circle it. So he's gonna choose, let's say, carrots, sliced apples, and blueberries. So he's gonna take his dry erase marker and he's gonna circle those 3 things. And then he'll pick 2 less healthy choices. So I didn't separate healthy and unhealthy because I think what you can do is you can generate some discussion on what is healthy and what is not, and I'm hoping that he starts to understand without the prompt of having them separated and choose on his own. So an unhealthy snack choice would be, and I don't want to call it unhealthy because I don't really want him to think of food in that way. I would just call it 3 healthy choices and 2 treats. So chips would be a treat, cereal would be a treat, cookies, gummies, muffins, all of that would be a treat. So if it's sugary or super salty, it would be a treat. Anything else rice cakes is healthy. The cereal is considered a treat because the kind of cereal we buy, it's pretty sugary cereal. I would say popcorn is a healthy option. Obviously, if it's a fruit, it's healthy. Okay, so he's gonna choose 3 healthy, 2 not healthy. And then on his lunch choices, we're just going to consider all of it fine. And so whatever 3 choices, we'll circle those. If you want to circle maybe 1 or 2 of these, he can also, on the bottom is a list of 2 cookbooks. Nourishing Neurodiversity is a very simple cookbook. The Autism Cookbook is, it matches Max's dietary needs. It's not as simple to follow. Okay, so there's cookbooks there, and then he has a binder in the kitchen. Chandra, you are familiar with that binder. There's recipes in there for some of these common things that he eats as well. So he's gonna circle 3 things on here, or he could do 2 things from here and something from one of these 2 cookbooks. I probably wouldn't choose 3 things from a cookbook because those things would all be new, and you want to make sure he's got a couple of choices that we know are tried and true, and that's what this list is. It's tried and true recipes. Okay, so once he's planned out his meals and his snacks by circling them with the dry erase marker, then that planning is done. And the second part of the planning on Wednesday is to plan for the fun social studies and science activities. Miss Ashley, there's a whole video on social studies and science that you will want to watch first. So once you watch that, I think you'll understand a little bit more about what I'm referring to now. Tiandra, for you, the only reason he's supposed to plan that Wednesday is just because sometimes you might run into materials that we don't have, and then if he plans the activities later on Thursday when he starts making lists, then you can put whatever materials we don't happen to have in the house, and then he can either pick those up on Friday when he shops, or if it's not like at the grocery store, you can leave the list for me and I'll make sure he has them for the following week. Okay, so that is Wednesday. Then on Thursday, that's the day where he's actually going to be making his grocery list. So what I want him to do is look at his, there would be 5 circled. He's going to look at these things and he's going to go up into the pantry, the one in the kitchen. There's another pantry type closet in one of the bedrooms upstairs. Tandra, I don't know if you've been in that one, but I can show you. And Miss Ashley, for you, I'll make you a video tour of where we keep all of our freezers and refrigerators, and they're all over. Pantries and that kind of thing. So he's going to check the kitchen areas. He's going to check the freezers in the garage. He's going to check the pantry in the upstairs bedroom to see what we have and what we don't. If we have it, he does not need to add it to a shopping list. If we don't have it, then obviously he's going to put that on his list. Now, for some things, like let's say he circles sliced apples and we have 1 apple left, that's where I want Max to start having discussions like, hey, do you think that's enough for next week? There's 5 days in a week, and what if you want apples on more than 1 day? So yes, we have it, but you still might want to put it on the list. I want him to start having those conversations and kind of thinking things through. So he's going to be looking, he's going to be learning where everything is in the house, where he can find certain items, and then he's going to be problem solving. Do we have it, don't we, and do we have enough? So he's going to do that, and then he's going to come, once he's done with this list, then he's going to move to his lunch list, and that's where he's going to want to look at the item and decide, is that one thing, like for example, gluten-free chicken tenders, he's going to have to check for that, or is it something where there's a recipe, and if there's a recipe, then he's got to look at the recipe either in the binder or in one of the cookbooks and make sure he's got all the ingredients for the recipe, all the separate things. So let's say he circled nachos, rice and beans, and peanut butter and jelly. So obviously peanut butter and jelly, he's going to look for those ingredients. For rice and beans, for anything that is on this list that is not pre-made, there is a recipe, even if it's like super simple, in his binder. So if it's on here, the recipe's in the binder. If you guys choose something from one of the cookbooks, obviously you're going to get the ingredient list from there. So he's going to check for that. If we have it, he's going to need, and like for certain things, like for example, sorry, I like stopped and started my sentence. For certain things, like for nachos, I have a recipe in cumin, and I think chili powder is in the recipe. He is going to have to start learning what spices are, like what different kinds of ingredients are and where those things are, and then reading the labels and trying to figure out what things are. So this day, Thursday, is going to probably be your most time consuming day if he's choosing things that he's got to make. Okay, but he's going to decide what he has, what he doesn't, and as he's checking, if he doesn't have it, he should stop, go to wherever the table or the counter, and write down what it is that he needs that he doesn't have. Okay, that is Thursday. Once he is done with all of that, then the third list he's going to check is the one that you guys wrote down where you planned your activities, and then he's going to see, oh, we're going to do a rainbow activity where we need paper towels and food coloring. Do we have those items? And then if he does, then great. And if not, then he's going to put it on the list. I think Thursday is going to be such a language heavy day because there are so many incredible conversations and gestalts and different things you can build around this particular day. But it also might be a little heavy work-wise for Max. So I would play Thursday by ear in the sense that if doing all of this like wears him out, then some of the other like iHip homeschooly things that I have, if you want to skip those, 100% skip them and give him a little bit of a break. It just really depends how long this takes and how many things you need and how many ingredients are you searching for. So I would play that by ear. Okay, so Friday is shopping day. That's when he's going to take his list and go shopping, and he can practice some of his math skills. So I would start like super simple at first. Obviously, he's going to go to the store and practice what ingredients are we finding in what aisles. So you can start pointing out there's a canned good aisle, there's spices in a certain aisle, and talk about all those things. And then later, like, I'm going to give you guys a money pouch. I'm going to try and keep a pouch full of cash so Max can start paying that way. That way you don't have to put out any of your money instead of me like Venmoing you after the receipt. And then you can give, like, from his little money pouch, you can, before you get up to the register, you can, like, let's say there's $100 and a $20 and $5. You might pull out $5 and look at your cart full of groceries and have him decide, do you think this $5 is enough to cover all those groceries? Do you think you need more? Sorry about that. That kind of thing. And then obviously once you get to the register, he can practice getting change. Are you going to need change? Paying with the money and all those good things. Okay, so that's kind of the schedule for the week. The only other thing I wanted to talk about in this video is lunch. So once you've ended that week, the following week, Monday is cooking day, and that's where you're going to look at what he planned. And if Max planned something for the week for lunch that does not need like a full recipe, so let's say he chose gluten-free chicken tenders, that's something you're only going to make that day. But what he's going to look at on Monday is, what did I choose for the week and what can I make in advance? So if he has chosen like boxed mac and cheese, you're not going to make that in advance. You're not going to make peanut butter and jelly in advance. You're not going to do gluten-free chicken tenders. Like, certain things you make that day. Other things you can make in advance. Like, he could make French toast in advance. He can make blueberry pancakes in advance. I know that's considered breakfast foods, but if he wants to eat it for lunch, that's fine. If he chose nachos, you're going to assemble the nachos the day of, but he could make the ground beef, and the black beans, or he can make all those things in advance, put it in a container, pop it in the fridge. Or if he's choosing to eat nachos that day, he can just make it that day. If you're gonna make rice and beans, that's something that you, like, if you follow the recipe, he's gonna have a lot more he's gonna have more than just one serving. So you're gonna wanna make that in advance because that can sit for several days. So again, on Monday when you're cooking, there's a little bit of planning involved. He can choose Monday what he wants for lunch that day, and then you guys can decide what are we gonna make for the whole week that day. And what are we not? If Max has not chosen anything that needs to be prepared in advance, so let's say he chose pizza, which you don't have to make in advance because it's pre-made crust, it's pre-made crust, it's pre-made sauce, and it's like pre-shredded cheese, dairy-free cheese. So you don't have to do that in advance. So if he chose like pizza and he chose gluten-free tenders and peanut butter and jelly, so nothing needs to be made in advance. If you see that the week before, then you can plan ahead on planning day and be like, ooh, Max, there's nothing we really have to cook on Monday. Maybe we'll go through your binder or your recipe books and pick a sweet treat. So he might make pumpkin muffins or a gluten-free cake or something like that, and then you guys can do that on Monday. But if you do that, just make sure that you have the ingredients and it goes on your Thursday list. Okay. Final thing when it comes to food is lunch. So now you're finally on Monday, it's the week that you have planned for, and Max needs to choose his lunch. So the snacks that he chose, the reason he chose 3 healthy and 2 treats, is because with his lunch, he is now going to have to pick 2 healthy snacks And then later in the day, if he eats all of the healthy snacks, he may choose a sweet treat. And then he can, if he also wants it doesn't have to be sweet. I think chips is a treat too. Mid-morning, if he has a snack mid-morning, he can have a treat then too. But he has to 100% with his lunch have 2 healthy snacks. So if he chooses chicken tenders, he's got to either have, and he has carrots, sliced apples, and blueberries. He gets to choose which 2 do you want, Max? And he might choose blueberries and apples or whatever. If he changes his mind and let's say he's like, well, I don't want any of that, I want bananas, and we have bananas, then great. If not, then you just be like, well, Max, you don't have that. We didn't plan for it, so let's put it on your list for next week, and then he can do that. But I want to make sure that he's getting 2 healthy snacks with every meal, because what I found this summer is he's eating like twice as many chicken tenders or pizza slices because he's hungry, but then he's not getting like the other good nutrients. So I want you to know too, we're going to do the same at dinner. Same thing. He's going to have a vegetable and then something else that's healthy and then his main course. Okay, so that's it. I know that was a lot. If you have any questions at all about the lunch and afternoon snack and routine, just let me know.